Good evening and thank you for joining us. The Canadian government is extending its sympathies to the Philippines in the wake of the massive typhoon that has devastated the Asian country. Prime Minister Harper issued a statement today saying that Canada is standing by to assist in any way it can. At least 138 people are confirmed dead, but Filipino officials say it's too early to know how high the death toll will climb. Artie Pole has the latest on the disaster and on what people in our country are doing to help.
Entire villages ripped apart by devastating winds, homes destroyed, trees and debris scattered everywhere. Destruction so quick bodies lie in the streets, particularly in the province of Leyte, hardest hit by Typhoon Haiyan.
The devastation is, I don't have the words for it. It's really horrific. It's a great human tragedy.
It's believed to be the strongest tropical cyclone to make landfall. The heavy rains swamped coastal villages. Rescue efforts are now underway. Supplies are scarce, and in some areas, looting has become a problem.
The situation is getting worse here in Tagbilaran, Bohol. Lots of displaced families are still staying in makeshift tents, and some are in the evacuation center.
In the chaos, families were separated. She says, "My father, mother, and my child are missing. I accidentally let go of my child's hand." Communication has been cut off as the storm knocked out power in several provinces. Filipino Canadians are desperately trying to get in touch with family too.
It's impossible to reach Leyte.
Mila Astorga Garcia started calling relatives there at 3 a.m. Friday morning. She still hasn't been able to speak with anyone in her home province. 36 cousins and one elderly aunt, all out of reach.
It devastates me. I keep on worrying all the time.
Biggest typhoon in the world this year.
This radio show in Toronto is urging its listeners to send aid fast.
Listeners, please, please donate.
In Winnipeg, an event was held today to raise funds for supplies. The Manitoba government has pledged $100,000 towards recovery efforts.
They need medicine, their bottled water, and we're accepting here in the center right now financial donations and also the groceries, canned goods.
With the number of dead rising and number of displaced families growing, aid groups say they'll need all the help they can get. Meanwhile, evacuations have already started in Vietnam as Typhoon Haiyan is headed that way. Artie Pole, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, here at home, graduates from Confederation College's aviation program took some time this weekend and grounded their birds back in the place they got their start. 180 of the past 800 graduates from the Aviation Flight Management program came to Thunder Bay to reunite with their old teachers and classmates. This is the 7th reunion that's been held over their 40 years. The program has a great success rate with commercial pilots going all over the world to work. Some went to Dubai to fly some of the largest planes on the planet, and some, like Captain Andrew Eckhart, joined the military. He now flies fighter jets.
I think a benefit with the program Confederation College is it's a structured syllabus that students go through, much like a military training environment. So they have benchmarks that they have to meet along the way. Certain levels of training have to be accomplished in a certain amount of time, much like the military. So the mindset in that case was pretty helpful and beneficial.
Program administrators say they look forward to seeing where their current students have made it 5 years from now. MP Bruce Heyer used Prime Minister Stephen Harper's own words against him in Ottawa this week. Heyer has been a longtime critic of Harper's style of government, calling it undemocratic. But now he's dug up some old Harper quotes from 1996, long before he became Prime Minister. Harper was apparently upset at the Liberal majority government of the day, and Heyer says the opinions expressed then are even more valid now.
Countries governed for a long time by only one party drift into cronyism, corruption, cynicism, and a period of chaos. A governing party enjoying an indefinite lease on power encourages its supporting interests to become closely interwoven with the state. This may entail corruption on a grand scale. Mr. Speaker, those 1996 quotes were written by the man who is our Prime Minister today.
There's been a lot of debate ever since the news broke earlier this week that Toronto Mayor Rob Ford, by his own admission, did in fact smoke crack cocaine. He maintains he won't resign from his post as mayor, but should he? That's the question we put to local residents this week for our TB News Watch Question of the Day.
You know, I don't approve of him doing crack cocaine, but one thing I do like about the man is perseverance. He hangs on through tough and thin. And if he's like that and running the city of Toronto, all to him. I do not think he should resign, though. Yes, he should have never done that, but I still think his perseverance of keeping going through all this stuff that he's been through is amazing, and that is a show of a leader.
Right, he should.
Okay. Do you have any reasons why you think he should resign?
He's a public servant, and young kids are going to look at people like that and say, if he can do it, I can do it, so I can get away with it.
I think he should take a leave of absence and get help. But no, he shouldn't resign. He was elected, and it's up to him to decide, and it's up to the people to decide. They're going to vote next year, and if they still want him, then he'll still be there. But I think he needs help.
For the past 10 years, local Alzheimer patients have been creating artwork as a part of a unique effort to achieve a better quality of life while living with the disease. Now, something is being done to help generate funds with that artwork. Mike Albanese reports.
The Alzheimer's Society held a gallery exhibition for the first time ever in Thunder Bay. The event, titled Making Memories, Persons with Dementia Remembering Through Art, had 15 artists with 50 pieces of art being showcased at the Baggage Building. Ashley Quarrell of the Alzheimer's Society, Thunder Bay, spoke about why painting in particular helps people with the disease.
It's an opportunity for them to express themselves, remember some of their emotions or special events that happened in their lifetime, and sort of memorialize it here with some artwork for everybody to see.
The artwork was created over 4 Saturdays of sessions designed to evoke memories from their past. Natalie Hodson was a facilitator at the sessions and said that the most surprising aspect when they were painting was how great of lessons some of their stories held.
I was surprised how much they kind of touched my heart, because they had all kinds of stories. Like, it's a different generation than I am, and so like the stories that of their lives were just incredible, what things they have gone through, and they have a lot to give to people, I think, through their memories of different things they've done and experienced.
10 volunteers helped out at the sessions. Among them was Sarah Murray. Her grandfather, Dave Murray, was one of the artists who had work up on display. The true effect of the painting's process was on display as well, as Dave explained.
Well, I guess it was,
Yes.
doing the painting. I couldn't remember all the pictures until I came here and then saw them again.
Everyone at the event was amazed at what the artwork was doing for those affected by Alzheimer's, especially Sarah, who was happy to spend the time with her grandfather painting and believed strongly in the event herself.
I think that is really important for this program to continue, because it helps people with dementia to remember things that they couldn't remember before, and it makes new memories and they can get out and have fun.
All of the proceeds from the event will go to support programs provided to the 2,300 people living with the disease in Thunder Bay. A silent auction will run until November the 14th, and the art will be up on display for another month. Mike Albanese, TBT News.
Well, a chance last night to watch people go off the deep end. Brave souls took the plunge yesterday for the annual Do or Dive fundraising event, with proceeds going toward Pro Kids and the Thunder Bay diving team. 18 volunteers jumped from either the 3, 5, or 10-meter diving boards at the complex. There was also a twist for the participants. They could buy their way down to a lower board, but it cost them $250. Some divers dressed in costume prior to taking the plunge. Pro Kids coordinator Laura Danieli explains why some were forced to jump from the highest board.
Pledges, the more money they raised, the higher the jump would have to be. And many of our participants jumped off the 10-meter tower. And these are mature people who wouldn't ordinarily be doing things like this every day. So they had a lot of their fans supporting them here today and cheering them on.
This year's Do or Dive raised more than $30,000 split between Pro Kids and the diving team. That's $5,000 more than last year. Well, construction crews were on scene at the Valhalla Inn today. They weren't there working on the building itself. No, they were there to build some much smaller houses from inside. Habitat for Humanity's Great Gingerbread House build took shape this afternoon as 10 crews got to work building gingerbread houses in villages. With the event now in its third year, some of the construction has gotten pretty advanced. Teams had to raise at least $500 to enter. Any extra money raised could be used to send out building inspectors to slow the work of other teams. A large crowd came to watch the build, with many kids on hand for the Little Diggers Day. And the kids weren't the only ones dressed for the occasion, as some of the adult builders also got into the spirit.
It means a lot to know that I played a part in helping the people move into homes that they couldn't afford by themselves. Everyone here, not just on our team, but in every team, all 10 teams participating today, all of our efforts go towards helping these people move into the homes.
The event has raised more than $15,000 since its inception. Organizers are hoping to raise that number again this year alone. You can vote for the People's Choice Award on the Habitat for Humanity website throughout next week. Sounds like a pretty fun event.
Looked pretty awesome.
Looks great.
Christmas is coming.
Christmas is coming. Yeah, don't remind me. I still have gifts to buy.
Yeah, I haven't even started that shopping yet.
Yeah, I know. Neither have I. Speaking of fun events, a lot of local sports happening this weekend.
Yeah, lots in city, lots out of city. I'll have all your recaps coming up after the break.
Well, do you like defense, Matt Scoopy?
Yeah, that's really the ultimate question today, isn't it?
Yeah, I hope you do like defense, because that was pretty much all that was on display today at the junior football final.
Yeah, hey, we're coming to a close, right? This is just about it. We reached that time of year. Local football season, again, is coming to a close. There were a couple of good senior semifinals last night, but we'll get to that in just a little bit. Today, the juniors had the spotlight in this year's final, and it pitted both of the Catholic high schools, the Saints versus the Falcons. Defending champion St. Ignatius was trying to make it 2 titles in a row, while St. Pat's was looking to upend their rivals and take home the city championship. This was a defensive football game, as Ryan just mentioned. First quarter, Falcons going for it on 3rd down, but Chris Merritt is stopped in the backfield by Matt Blake. He had a great game. St. Ignatius turns it over on down. St. Pat's couldn't do anything with it, though, and after a short punt, Falcons back deep in Saints territory. Run the end around to Josh Naranski, and he's got open field scamper, 17 yards for the touchdown. It was an important one, put St. Ignatius on top 7-0 after the first quarter. Second quarter, Falcons punting, but Ethan Slater's kick is blocked by a handful of Saints that got through the line. St. Ignatius would eventually recover the ball, but they turn it over in their own territory. Saints offense, though, still couldn't get anything going, so they turned to the trickery. Lining up to punt, but Ian Buontello pulls it down and hits Kellen Studel, but Edwin Otero, not fooled, makes the tackle, and St. Ignatius led 7-0 at the half. Third quarter. Wasn't lying, and we weren't trying to fool you when we talked about this one being defensive. Falcon defenders swarmed to the football to deny the Saints on third and short, then Merritt taken down by Studel in the backfield. D coming up big. Fourth quarter, Bryce Cavello gets the ball knocked out of his hands on the exchange. St. Pat's recovers the fumble. Bad time for the Falcons to lose their first fumble of the season. However, on the ensuing drive, it's the Saints who have issues trying to run an inside reverse, the wet ball wreaking some havoc. A huge pileup for the ball, and after a short conference, the referees rule that it's St. Ignatius football. Merritt had a huge game, though, in this one. Gets his 30th carry late in the fourth quarter. He finished with 178 yards on the ground, but the Falcons still had to punt. So the Saints, with one last chance, Tyler Mathieu back to pass, but he's sacked by Jordy Mio, one of 2 sacks Mio had on the final drive. And the St. Ignatius Falcons win it 7-0 the final, their second straight junior title.
Our defense played really well all season. We did not allow a whole lot of points, and the kids played fantastic again today. And even when St. Pat's got things going, we were able to find a break, a fumble, a turnover, and then continue on, and we were able to kind of grind it out at the end.
Well, it was tougher, as you get into the championships and the finals and stuff like that. Then teams started to get better, and the games are closer. So we knew it was going to be a tough and low-scoring game here. So we had to make every drive count, make the tackle.
It means that our team works hard and continue to work hard. And we'll come get it next year again if we can.
As I just mentioned, the senior semifinals went last night at the stadium with a berth in the city championship next weekend on the line. The winner of that game will go on to play in an OFSA Bowl game, which takes place November 28th, just outside of Toronto. Mike Albanese has your recap.
In the first semifinal, the Westgate Tigers took on the Hammersholt Vikings. In the first quarter, Ham up by 7, Westgate tallies as quarterback Dylan Tatarin hooks up with Spencer Melnick in the corner of the end zone. Second quarter, Westgate up by a field goal, but Hammersholt answered that with a lateral pass to Bradley Beacon on a run play. Beacon ran half the field, scoring and bringing the score 14-10 Hammersholt. Fourth quarter, Westgate elects to run straight up the gut, and they find the hole. Cody Sheedy runs for 40 yards, bringing the score to 22-17 for the Tigers, and they would hang on to win it. On to the second game now. The Churchill Trojans are taking on the St. Ignatius Falcons. Churchill draws first blood as quarterback Justin Fooey finds Eric Warren near the end zone, opening the game scoring 6-0 Trojans. After a rouge point is given to Churchill, making it 7-0, the Trojans punt the ball, not expecting this return. Falcon Jake Puskis returns the ball 55 yards down the sideline, tying it up 7-all. Literally the next play, Ignatius kicks the ball downfield, and who other than Justin Fooey picks it up and runs a whopping 78 yards, giving the Trojans their lead back. The Trojans hung on to win the game 35-31. Mike Albanese, TBT Sports.
On the Lakehead University front, the men's hockey team got a sweep over Laurentian last night. The Wolves downed the Voyageurs 4-1 to take both games in Sudbury. Cody Alcock had 2 of the LU markers, while Mike Hammond and Chris Delalonde had the others. The Wolves return home next weekend for their final home games before the Christmas break. They welcome Concordia for a 2-game set. Meanwhile, the LU volleyball team, they fell 3-0 against McMaster last night. The Lady Wolves have lost 3 in a row after starting the season 2-0. The rematch of the Marauders is happening right now in Hamilton. The basketball teams also opened their home schedule last night. Matt Erdman making his home debut as interim head coach of the Wolves this season. They were in tough against the #1 team in the country, the Carleton Ravens, led by top player in the CIS, Phil Scrubb. Down 4-0 early, Anthony McIntosh scores the first home points of the season. You know what that means? Whiteout. Yeah, there you go. Later, Scrubb doing what he does best, hits the fadeaway jumper along the baseline. Ravens take an early 5-point lead. Before the quarter is over, though, Alex Robichaud drains the 3-ball. And then in the dying seconds, Robichaud hits from almost the exact same spot at the buzzer, where Wolves trailed by 6 after 1. Second quarter belonged to Carleton, though. First, it's Scrubb. Pulls up from long range. Book it. Then Clinton Springer-Williams How about a little head fake, takes it to the rack, oh, and then finishes with authority. Huge dunk. Finally, it's Scrub again. Nice move, hard to the basket, count the bucket, and one. Carleton finished the half on a 14-0 run. They led 47-25 at the break. Third quarter, Scrub picks up where he left off, getting the runner to go in the lane. He had a game-high 15. Then Tyson Hins in the post, couple of nice moves before hitting the floater. Ravens up by 30. Lakehead, meanwhile, they couldn't hit a shot. They struggled from the field the entire game, shooting just 38%. Carleton runs away with this one, 92-50 the final. How about the women's game? After going down early, the Wolves respond in the form of Katie Ulakovic. She drains a 3-ball, ties the game at 5, but it was all Carleton after that. Stephanie Carr hits from downtown. That was part of a 10-0 Ravens run. Then it's Elizabeth Roach, who's going to dial it up from long range herself. Carleton led by 12 after the first. Second quarter starts well for LU again. Lindsay Inkala from way beyond the arc, and it falls. Makes it 26-14. It was a sloppy quarter, though, full of turnovers and missed free throws. Lakehead got to within 9, but Carleton put together another run. They led by 12 at the half. Same story in the third quarter. Abir Farhat goes end-to-end, almost untouched, and finishes with the layup. Ravens up their lead to 15 after 3, and then in the fourth, Lindsay Suprunchuk hits the open jumper. She had a game-high 12 points as Carleton wins 67-47. The final, both teams play Ottawa tonight. On the ice, Philadelphia captain Claude Giroux ended his 21-game goal drought in the Flyers' 4-2 win over Edmonton this afternoon. That ended a stretch of over 175 minutes. The Flyers went without scoring a goal at home. In other early action, Clark MacArthur had the game winner as the Ottawa Senators edged the Panthers 3-2. Tonight, Toronto is in Boston for a rematch of last year's Eastern Conference quarterfinals, and the Canucks visit the LA Kings. Closer to home, the Thunder Bay North Stars dropped the puck on a 2-game series with the Minnesota Iron Rangers. Pick things up 1-0 Minnesota in the third. Thunder Bay ties it midway through the period. It's rookie Zach Grzelewski puts home the gift at the side of the net. That's a power play marker, 1-1. Just 22 seconds after that, North Stars work it in front. A mad scramble around Iron Rangers netminder Eric Marley. It's Alex Viant who finally puts it home. And it's 2-1 North Stars. 6 minutes left to go in the period. Now tied at 2. Thunder Bay turns it over. The initial shot is stopped by Eric Mann, but Jason Reynolds buries on the rebound. Minnesota back on top 3-2. But again, just 51 seconds later, North Stars with some nice passing, and Robert McLean, great play to get the puck to his stick and then bury the tying goal. Things were tied at 4. We needed a shootout. Reynolds has a chance to win it for the Iron Rangers. Does just that, beating Mann on the glove side. Minnesota takes it 5 for the final. Both teams square off at the Gardens tonight again.
Yeah, that should be a good one. A couple of good teams there. North Stars actually doing pretty well this year. I'll have all of your weather details. Stay with us. That's coming up right after the break. Well, it's of course November, or maybe Movember, as you can tell by our glorious, glorious mustaches. And that means the weather is getting a little cooler, unfortunately. Before we get into our conditions here, let's take a look at what we've got across the country right now. In Vancouver, they're still seeing great temperatures. They're at 8 degrees, a little cooler in Prince George at 2. Edmonton, -7, -5 in Calgary. Getting a little warmer as we move into Saskatchewan, -2 in Saskatoon, -1 in Regina. Winnipeg on the plus side of things, we're at 1 degree, -12 in Churchill, so a very, very cool one there. Toronto, 8 degrees, so another glorious day there. Sault Ste. Marie seeing some rain, 3 degrees. Some snow in the Ottawa-Montreal area. They're sitting at -1. Quebec City right at the freezing mark. 2 in Halifax and Charlottetown. Similar conditions in St. John's under cloudy skies. Little closer to home, yeah, you don't like to see those temperatures well below freezing in certain places. Fort Frances, -5 in Red Lake. Big Trout Lake, they're at -7 with some snow to the north of us and a little bit of rain as you move into Sault Ste. Marie along the north shore there. Tomorrow, temperatures not really rebounding all that much, staying right around 0 throughout much of the region. 1 in Fort Frances, 1 in Atikokan, 2 in Marathon. Thunder Bay at this hour, we are seeing some light rain. We're at 2 degrees with wind coming out of the west at 9 kilometers per hour. Tonight, could see some flurries, and it's going to feel a little cooler than that temperature of -1. It's going to feel more like -6 with the wind chill coming out of the northwest at 14 to 20 kilometers per hour. So it's starting to get chilly. As we take a look at our extended forecast, not a bad day tomorrow though, mainly sunny, 4 degrees for the high, but then you start seeing those negative temperatures come Monday, mix of sun and cloud, -3. Mainly sunny though on Tuesday, -2 the temperature there before we rebound a little bit, 3 degrees on Wednesday and Thursday. So tomorrow, a nice day with some sunny skies, should be what we're predicting, but those sub-zero temperatures coming before we know it.
No kidding. And my mustache is anything but glorious. I got the prostate high cancer on, which is good. Go online to Movember and donate, but it's not pretty.
I'm going to give you props. I think it is glorious. It's the most spectacular thing I've ever seen.
Thanks,
In the meantime, that'll do it for us. We'll see you again tomorrow.
Thank you.